All right, welcome. So today what we're going to do is we're going to focus on how to create voice in writing. So the objectives is that students are going to go from having like a formulaic or monotone voice in your writing to really having your own personality flow throughout your writing. So the big concept is voice, all right? So to add voice, you need to think about the different voice styles. You need to think about ongoing strength. You need to have interesting language. You need to cite sensory words, and it needs to be engaging. So writing style, it's a lot like clothing and or social media style. How would you describe yourself? What will you wear? What do you watch or post on your social media sites? That should be what your writing style sounds like as well during a more informal and narrative piece. So, writing style is more during informal, like when you're writing a letter or when you're writing a story. When you are writing a response to literature, it's always, or like a science lab or an academic paper, then it's always going to sound objective. Okay, so this is really specifically for the narrative or informal pieces. So for example, I just chose superheroes because that seemed to be what this slide theme was that I chose, how different voices would come across for Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman. So example, Wonder Woman, sisters in battle. I am a shield and a blade to you. As I breathe, your enemies will know no sanctuary. While I live, your cause is mine. So her style is very strong and protective, especially of women, very warrior-like, right? So here's Batman. It is not who I am underneath, but it's what I do that defines me. So his actions speak to his character because nobody really knows who he is. Therefore, he's mysterious, but he's also dedicated. And then we have Superman. I once thought I could protect the world by myself, but I was wrong. Working together, we save the planet. And I believe if we stay together as a team, we would be a force that could truly work for the ideals of peace and justice. So his style is very like leadership, team oriented, but he's definitely the leader and he's looking for that truth and that justice. There are many different types of styles, so you just think about yourself as a person. Are you serious? Are you silly? Are you poetic? Are you artistic? Are you thoughtful? Are you athletic? Are you like a gamer? Are you egotistical? Are you humble? So think about who you are as a person, and that should also be kind of like your writing style. So your words should always have ongoing strength, nothing wishy-washy. And here's what we mean by that. So get rid of weak, repeated, unneeded words. So here's an example of weak words. Really avoid these ones. About, almost, maybe, perhaps, even just ly words, which we call adjectives. And also words like big, small, good, nice, bad, mean. So here's an example of a weak word. It was about 5 o'clock in the evening when I thought perhaps I should finally get out of bed. So I delete these. It was 5 o'clock in the evening when I knew I should get out of bed. Much stronger. Look for repeated words. The feeling that he had an effect on him. Okay, we don't need 4 hads there, right? And then be specific. Instead of the feeling, be specific. What was that feeling? The knot he felt in the pit of his stomach made him suspicious. So notice I went from feeling an effect to also being very suspicious or being very specific, and then also deleting those repeated words. Also, get rid of anything that's unneeded. Here's that ly word. There was absolutely nothing he could do. No, there was nothing he could do. Okay? See how those sentences just sound so much stronger. All right. Also, insert more showing rather than telling. Sometimes we delete words like the ly word and we make it more concise, but other times we kind of expand it just a little bit. So, if it ends in ly, consider deleting and adding more details instead. Instead of saying the teacher was really busy, show. The teacher was so busy during class that every time she finished helping one student, two more students needed assistance. So be specific. Show your reader how busy she is. Don't just tell them. Also, make your language interesting. If you are in the middle of a quiet and or boring conversation, how would you liven it up? A lot of times people will insert some humor, they'll add an interesting story. This is another way to add voice to your writing. And although you wouldn't do it in a conversation per se, you would add figurative language to create flow and imagery in your writing. So consider adding like alliterations where you're repeating the same sound over again, maybe some hyperboles, maybe a metaphor or simile or some personification or onomatopoeias, okay? That's another way to add voice to your writing and make it more interesting. Also, cite sensory words and phrases that create imagery in your reader's mind. The way that I like to think of adding like hearing, seeing, tasting, smelling, feeling words, it's kind of like you're inserting memes, GIFs, or videos into your writing with words. So let's review some examples. So I just searched up restaurant and I found this picture and I threw it in there. So I use this as my inspiration. Other things in a restaurant, I might say something like, the clinking of the plates and the buzzing conversation around us created an atmosphere similar to that of the beehive. Notice I combined imagery words like what I was hearing, and I also included like an onomatopoeia, and I also included a metaphor. C. The food was so artistically displayed that I didn't even want to eat it. I also combined seeing with feeling, right? It looked so nice, I didn't want to do this. Taste. The fresh green salad cooled down the hot pepper that was stinging my mouth. Notice I also use contrasts, right? The cool with the hot along with the taste. Smell. The smell of garlic permeated my nostrils and sent a hunger signal down into my belly. Notice I combined smell with personification of what the garlic did to me, sent a signal down. Feel. The low lighting, good food, and even better company made me content, so inserting those feeling words to be exactly where I was. Also engage. How do you get people to want to respond to your writing? The same way you get them to respond to your social media posts, okay? You're going to ask a question. What do you think? You're going to trigger an emotion, or you're going to, and I'm going to talk really specifically about what does trigger emotions and how we can get there. Then you're going to ask for feedback and forwarding, like leave a comment below, hit like, or share. Now, obviously, you can't do that in your writing, but I'll show you how. So question, have you ever wondered what would happen if? Emotion, you are my favorite human, better than anyone I have ever met. Or feedback and forwarding, if you found this article helpful, forward it to a friend. All right, let's review. In order to add voice to your writing, you're going to create voice style by exploring your own style. You're going to show ongoing strength by getting rid of wishy-washy words. You're going to use interesting language by inserting humor, personal stories, or by using figurative language. You're going to cite sensory words, things that make your reader hear, see, feel, taste, and touch things in your writing. And you might, it might not always be possible, engage your readers by asking them to respond. All right, if you have any questions at this point, you can ask your teacher. And have a good day.